principles of unity have worked in her life? Sometimes it works, sometimes not.
Look on the other side of the boat.
This is never easy. Oh, okay. How unity principles work in my life. I was brought up in the First Christian Church, Disciples of Christ, in Adrian, Michigan. The Lions lost last night, but we won't go there. And I was very active, along with my whole family, in the church. The church that I was raised in was very ecumenical, believing in all different faiths, their right to believe whatever, and seeking to foster greater understanding and cooperation. Although, I must say, as a child, I was always very eager to go to church because my grandma Hazel always brought a Hershey's chocolate bar, a pack of Wrigley's gum that she gave to each of her grandchildren, which was me, my siblings, and my cousins. So that was my incentive. Anyway, at some point as a teenager, I didn't particularly like the minister, the new minister we got, and I stopped attending. Then I left Michigan and moved to Colorado for a few years, and then back to Michigan. And then on January 20th, 1977, my then husband Tom and I left Michigan and traveled around for about 7 months, ending up in Olympia. And I remember that day because that was the day that Jimmy Carter was inaugurated as president 48 years ago tomorrow. Anyway, after moving to Olympia in 1977, I joined the First Christian Church on Franklin Street, right around the corner. I don't know which way it is. That way, yeah. The First Christian Church, right around the corner here. And I was happy there. And when my husband and I moved to Sharpe, it was too far to drive, and I stopped attending again. So from time to time, I would try other churches, but none of them clicked. So there was a desire to belong to a spiritual community, but there was no calling to belong to any of the communities in the vicinity of where I was planted. My late husband Jim and I spent some years in the Arctic, and that was enough of a spiritual adventure. But anyway, for 40 years, I really didn't go to church. And over the following years, my main spiritual path was my dedication to my husband and family. My late husband Jim had been raised Catholic, and however, he felt they were not there for him during his early divorce, so he was done with them. So we just didn't go to church. After moving back to Olympia in 2014, we moved next door, sorry, I get a little emotional, to Rick and Diana. And over the years, we became friends. And Diana would ask that I join her at Unity of Olympia, but at first I didn't really feel interested. My husband was ill, and much of my attention was focused on caring for him. Plus, we were raising 2 grandkids at the time, too. But Rick and Diana were always, can't get through without crying. Rick and Diana were always there for me at this difficult time, and after I lost him. Jim died in November of 2019, and in February 2020, I sold my house to my daughter, Megan, and her husband, and moved into a small condo alone. And then COVID hit. We all know what that was like. So sitting alone on Easter Sunday, 2020, Diana sent me a link to the Sunday service that Reverend Terry was broadcasting during COVID, and I tuned in. When Reverend Terry began speaking, I had a spiritual experience. I felt like I was alone with her and that she was talking directly to me. I couldn't tell you what she was talking about, but it was like she knew me and knew exactly what to say to me. And later I realized that Unity Principle 1 was alive and active in my life at that time. There is only one presence and one power active in the universe, and in my life, God the Good. I felt in my body and soul during that Easter service a connection with that power and presence in a really loving and meaningful way. So I continued attending services online and then in person when things opened up. Then I took the new members class at First Street, although I mostly attended online. Diana, who I lovingly call my mentor / tormentor, encouraged me to attend in person. And when we moved to the synagogue, I started to come in person. The daily word for December 26th just passed summarized what I felt and experienced since I began coming in person. Unity gives me roots and wings. I feel my belonging as I take my place in my family, my community, and my world. This is a gift I receive gratefully and one I have grace to give. I live into the fullness of the unity I feel by improving and healing myself so that the world is made a better place by my presence in it. As time passed, I began practicing Unity Principle number 5. Through thoughts, words, and actions, we live the truth we know. I got into action by participating in the 4-H spirit group, singing in the choir, and finally, when asked by my tormentor, agreed to serve on the finance team, and then on the board, and then taking Diana's place on the board as treasurer as she dealt with Rick's illness. I would not have volunteered, but I had to say yes when my friend Diana asked. And this last assignment as treasurer has been filled with many doubts, fears, and challenges. However, I am encouraged by others that my experience and talents are needed and appreciated. Who knew? Anyway, I pray my efforts inspire others to live as the unique gifts the world needs. Together we lift one another up